I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami, Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother.
Great Mother speaks to us in raw, realistic, and righteousness. Great Mother speaks to those of us who are most alienated from her unconditional love due to our birth mother experience. Here, welcome to Great Mother
Hi,
Speaks
everybody.
to
I know
us
it's been a while,
in
but
raw,
I have
realistic,
really
and
missed
righteousness.
you. I hope everybody's doing
Great
well
Mother speaks
and that this eclipse season is just blessing you, blessing you, blessing you. If you don't feel that it is, these readings are for you. Now, of course, with eclipses, they are relevant for 6 to 18 months during the eclipse period. And, I tell you that if you really want to keep up with what Great Mother is doing, you need to go to mamadramatrauma.info. That's where I've been spending most of my time with the support group and the deck that's coming out. And remember, Great Mother created this deck for us to heal. It's a process. Everybody has their own process. I know I've been living in loving detachment from my mother for 13 years. And this eclipse brought up so much for me still. It takes a while. And so the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck has been having classes. We've been having support groups online and in my community. And so it's been awesome. So I'll get videos up when I can. Great Mother inspired me to share these videos with you. But before I do, what came up for me is that even after 13 years of working with my divinity identity, of being a dearly loved child of the Great Mother Father God. Now say it with me, those of you who've been watching for a while. And those of you who haven't, this channel is Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck that is designed for people with mama drama trauma, a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases where she is unwilling, unable, and unavailable to heal her own trauma, because it is a cycle, in order for the child to be healed, she must or he must learn to live in loving detachment. Okay? Accepting the mother that we have, letting go of the mother that we want so we can accept the one we have. That's when we know that we're healed from MDT. But sometimes even when we're healed from things, we can have little, things that come up. You may have had a hip surgery and you're fine, you can walk, your hip's not broken anymore, but every once in a while when it rains, it might get sore. We're triggered as well. And eclipses have a tendency to do that because they're all about balance. They occur to balance the Earth's biosphere, the animal kingdom, our waters, our internal waters were made up of at least 70 to 80% water. It's a balancing mechanism that Great Mother Father God have for us to sustain life on this planet. Things get out of balance, right? And so it happens internally as well. Everything starts from spirit before it's manifested in physical form. So the moon and the sun do their thing. And so, long story short, with what happened to me, starting with the new moon, what came up for me, and this is what the solar eclipses, it always happens in the new moon. Solar eclipses reveal to you inner wisdom that we have been denying, we've been ignoring, we've been minimizing, that we haven't prioritized for whatever reason. There's no judgment, no condemnation, no tea, no shade, but it's something important that we have not looked at. Okay? And so that's what solar eclipses do. They bring up what needs to be brought up for us to acknowledge for our highest good. And then they're followed with the lunar eclipse that is all about who we truly are. So we have the solar eclipse, it's about who we think we are, but then the solar eclipse really shows us what we really need to know that's going on with who we are. And then the lunar eclipse is telling us what needs to be released in order for us to fulfill our true identity, in order for us to fulfill who our soul is. So what came up for me during the solar eclipse was that I needed to pay attention to how I was communicating to people. I needed to really pay attention to my perception of what people were saying to me and how I was interpreting conversations, because I was just really getting short and really getting irritated a lot with people and feeling like I knew what they meant and this and whatever, and really getting triggered with a whole bunch of MDT, getting deep into that. And so I knew it was out of balance, but then when the solar eclipse came, it confirmed it. You need to pay attention to that. So in the interim since then, what this lunar eclipse has shown me, and I'll just give you an illustration. Me and my man went to the movies this past weekend. We went to go see that movie Crawl. It is crazy. Live in Florida. Had to see it. It's a good movie though. I didn't think it was going to be good, but it is. And has a lot of spiritual connotations. I wasn't expecting that. We were driving in the car and we were talking about a guest visiting, as we often have in Florida, and going back and forth about what we're going to do and everything when they came. And we were driving up to the theater or whatever like that, and he was like, okay, we're in the present now. We're in the present. We need to be in the present, so let's go. And I was like, what? You the one brought up the conversation about planning for the future. Now you're going to tell me, it's, you need to be in the present, like that, because I'm always telling him that. And so I thought he was bringing it back on me. And I snapped. And he looked at me like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Come on, let's go to the movie. We're in the present. And it came to me like that from Great Mother. That's what I meant, Tammy. That's what I meant. Don't be doing that. Don't be doing that no more to people, because it's hurting you more. You see, he wasn't even paying no attention to what you're tripping on. But you were feeling so angry and so upset because you were interpreting it as judgment and condemnation. Like he's judging you for not being in the present, because that's what you was doing when you were telling him to be in the present. Girl, stop. You don't know what people are chilling. They're not coming at you like that. You coming at them like that. Stop. So, Great Mother is so merciful. It's so graceful. And I'm so grateful because that has taken such a load off my shoulders. Just not carrying that weight around of knowing what everybody's thinking. Anyway, Great Mother wanted me to share that with you because living and loving detachment is a process, and loving detachment is accepting what is. And what is what is. It is what we think it is in the moment, in the time. And we have to work with where we are. And so over 13 years, I've been in many places with accepting what is, accepting that my mother was an alcoholic, accepting that she didn't want to have a relationship with me, accepting that she couldn't accept me for who I am, accepting that, she judged me and condemned me for doing the voodoo, talking to Great Mother, accepting, it's a long journey of accepting what is. And this eclipse came up, and they normally come up during eclipses, by the way. Accept the fact that you are allowing yourself to be triggered by that judgment and condemnation from MDT, that blame. You're triggering yourself, girlfriend. Stop it. You've been conditioned to do that, but you don't have to keep on doing that. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. It's keeping you from enjoying your life. And I needed to bring that to your attention so that you can get in alignment with who you are. You are a dearly loved child of the Great Mother, Father, God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. Okay? So this reading for each of you, we're going to look at what the solar eclipse brought up for you, your moon sign. And check your moon sign calculator below. I know some of you watch based on your Western moon sign, but it is a 24-degree different with the Vedic in 24 degrees precession. So, for example, I am Gemini moon in the Western and Taurus moon in the Vedic because of the 24-degree difference. And it does make a difference if you really do intuit very strongly. The Jyotish is going to, in many cases, be more appropriate for you, but not necessarily, because there are obviously other aspects to your chart. So, with no further ado, I want you to realize that this reading will show you what came up for you and who you truly are in relationship to Great Mother's support of you at this time moving forward. The entire cosmos is supporting us uniquely and individually in ways that we cannot imagine. But through Great Mother Speaks, we'll have an idea. Come over to Mama Drama Trauma and join us. There's some very affordable classes. The new deck is going to be coming out, so you can pre-order, get into the tutorial so that you can do your own readings to gauge your own process. Thanks for watching. Hi Taurus moon sign people, this is in your 8th house, this Sagittarius full moon. It is really a doozy, and so this reading will really resonate from now until 6 months, 18 months from now. What you were feeling when the solar eclipse came up 2 weeks ago, a new moon, July 2nd, was really this internal sense of acting on your emotions, acting on who you feel your unique self to be. And so you were thinking of yourself as either someone being very creative, a business owner, someone internally in the sense of awakening to your ability to be creative, awakening to your ability to make your life what it needs to be. That's solar eclipse just really just charged you with that thought of yourself. And in the interim, what came up in response to that was an opposite sense of self-doubt. So this lunar eclipse is really telling you who you are with regard to where you are. Who you are is a divine child of the Great Mother Father God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. But because there is an overemphasis on the external sense of creativity and achievement, being the business owner, being the leader of the group, being someone who can create a picture or something in the physical world, there's an overemphasis on that and not enough of an emphasis on that internal space of creating from a sense of what your values are, creating from a sense of what you need and it coming to you as you need it, relating to your sense sensually, what really turns you on and what doesn't from a very vibrational level. Since that has been ignored, Taurus moon sign people, there's a sense of self-doubt that is coming up with this lunar eclipse about your creativity. And in order for you to embrace your divinity identity on the level that you're being called to embrace it now, you're going to have to implement a practice of centering every day. We hear this all the time about the meditation and whatnot, and let me tell you, meditation is so easy. We, as human beings, have a natural vegetative state that we go into 7 to 8 times a day. It's just a natural state of just tuning out and into the cosmos. And then we come back. And we just do it unconsciously. A thought can take us someplace and then we come back. That happens all the time and we think nothing of it. We do it about 7 or 8 times a day. We don't even think about it. We don't have to. It just happens. If you consciously tune into when you're even doing that, that can be a meditation of what you get when you come back. Let yourself go. Don't stop yourself just because you're conscious. A lot of times when you become conscious of something, then we'll stop. Just continue and just remind yourself to think of what it was and where you went when you were gone. And that'll be a message for you. Sometimes meditation is not always about receiving a message immediately either, but just about recognizing the wider space beyond the limitations of the sensory body and connecting with that wider space. That's all. That has to become a practice for you, Taurus moon sign people, for you to overcome this sense of self-doubt, because this 8th house energy is taking you to a higher level of spiritual awareness, and that's what you want. And so the cosmos has come to support you in that. But in order for you to go to that higher level, the self-doubt that you have about your ability to create from this internal immaterial space is going to come from connecting with that internal immaterial space on a more consistent basis than you have done in the past. What's supporting you in doing that is a very clear sense about how you do use your energy. And so now you do have a sense with these eclipses of how you use your energy. And there's been some kind of back and forth about that. Okay, so am I allocating my energy toward things that I believe are valuable, or am I not? Am I continuing in behaviors that serve me in relationships, or am I, maintaining, establishing, defining those boundaries? What am I doing? And this is the kind of work we do in the MDT support group. We look at these nuances in our grieving process of mama drama trauma, of letting go of the blame and the shame and the guilt to live MDT free. And this process for you is being supported with the Pele Awakening card that basically says, from that gut chakra level, that instinctual, visceral, survival level, it's important that you know the difference between whether you're using that internal power to create more toxicity in your life or to heal your life. That is what is supporting you, is that you have the capacity to be very consciously aware of that at this particular time, and to use that awareness to awaken to this new life, to awaken to this divinity identity that will be able to transcend this sense of self-doubt. Now, your present state of ego soul alignment is, there's some rage and there's some frustration about this. This has to do with, you see, Dorothy is defending herself and making sure Miss Ghost doesn't take Toto, attempting to. There's a present attempt to really hold on to your intuition, Taurus moon sign people, so you do value it. And you know that there is a process of rebirth and regeneration going on, and you don't want to lose the hard work, from the gains from the hard work that you've made. And so it's not that you don't know about centering or you haven't done centering work. Oh hell yeah, you have. It's just that now that you're being called to do greater inner work, you just intuitively know that it's going to change. You because you've done the work before, you know that it's going to change yourself internally, and you're wanting to hold on to the intuition that you presently have, and that's why you have self-doubt. And what Great Mother wants you to know is that the reason your soul wants to do this work with self-doubt at this particular time is because things are coming together for you on a higher level. They're coming together for you from that immaterial space, from that spiritual space. They're coming together for you. And for you to get to it, this is 6th chakra. You still 2nd chakra with 2nd chakra desires. You have worked with your intuition to a point where you have worked through a lot of shame, blame, and guilt. You have been centering yourself. You have been connecting to that higher 6th chakra, that third eye, that inner immaterial space. And you've been wanting to, on a gut level, to bring that down and to ground that in the world. But the reason that you have self-doubt is because a lot of that desire is based on perceptions, based on physical, it's based on material world, it's based on 2nd chakra, which is the Ankh symbol, that has to do with what the world is showing you and how your interpretation of the world based on your experience in the world this lifetime. But your soul has experiences beyond the lifetime that it wants to bring to this phase of your life, for you to fulfill your desires beyond what you may be perceiving at this particular time, which is material, root chakra. Okay, that's the seedling, the root chakra. It wants to bring you a higher sense of knowing. That's when Glinda the Good Witch returns to tell Dorothy, you could go home. And you can go home, and where's home for MDT survivors? It's that sense of peace. It's that sense of the peace that passes all understanding. We may not ever understand everything about MDT, speaking of in this physical lifetime. But the more we're connected with our divinity, that higher sense of who we are in ourselves, the more at peace we are about who we are and the life that we live. And that is what is coming forward for you in terms of who you are, and aligning that divinity identity so that that self-doubt can be overcome, to work with your destiny and your free will to align with your destiny. And your destiny is to be reborn at this time. Your destiny is to sensually connect with the reality that as you need, it will come to you through your angels, your guides, and your ancestors, through other people in the material world. You know, you are going to be able to access everything that your soul needs for its incarnation, because you've aligned with the law of destiny. It's just that you're working with the free will, which is the gut chakra. Okay, now fifth chakra does free will work as well, which is where we see the androgyne card. That's higher will. So you have it going on here with all of these chakras activated, moon sign people. And the reason why is because the regrounding that needs to happen, speaking of the seedling, this is the new moon root chakra card, the newt card. The reason this is all going on is because you do realize that you are at the end of the line in terms of what the status of your spiritual growth is at this time. The status of your intuitive wisdom has brought you this far. You've grown, but your soul is saying that there's so much more growth to do. And because of that sensory perception, you are doubting what you can achieve. And that's right. You cannot achieve more than you have already achieved with your present state. It's time to allow for that centering process to take place in your life on a more consistent basis as you learn to live the law as above, so below, that higher mind with the gut, aligning who you think you are with who you truly are. And who you think you are is someone that cannot do what you need to do in terms of the spiritual evolution. There are fears around it. But by realizing that not only can you do it, but you can choose how you do it. You can choose to transform in order to create more toxicity in your life. And this is where the fear is for most people, is because a lot of times we feel like we're in a situation that if we're given more power or more choices or more resources, we're just going to stumble even more. And so we retreat from life. That's a choice when you're living in divinity identity, but it's not a choice when you're not. You're just compelled by the stars. You just, instead of being impelled by the energies to consciously activate your divinity to support a sense of using that power to help yourself and others. And so now that you know how you're going to use the power, your outcome will be beauty. Own your beauty, moon sign people. You're being completely and utterly supported to do it. Even the palace guards give you the witch's broom. Thanks so much for watching, sharing, and liking. But above all and most of all, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter.